If you'd like to work with me, check out the link in my bio or visit jenniferconley.com. Check out my website. You'll find all the details so you can decide which way you would like for us to connect. All right. So earlier today, I was asking myself a few important questions, and it led to this light bulb moment. So I'd like to share that with you. So the first question I was asking is, why am I here? Am I here to fix myself? Am I here to fix others or a situation? Or am I here for the joy and the fun of being here? So I'm choosing to be here for fun and joy. Nothing else. No other commitments. All right. Next question. Am I one with the creator of all that is and all that ever will be? Or am I one with something less? So obviously, I am one with the creator. And since I know this, and since I'm claiming to be one with the creator, is it possible for me to be in harmony with that version of me? So am I connected to that? And how do I know? So of course, I know that I am connected. Of course, I know I am aligned. Of course, I know there is no separation. Nothing can separate me from the love and from being one with all that is and all that ever will be. So the tendency here is to justify choices, to prove why I'm choosing something, to force it, to pretend that I know what's going on, to explain and over-explain. And I don't need to choose any of those. I'm simply choosing my knowing. I know why I'm here, for the fun and the joy. I know I am one with all that is and all that ever will be and nothing less. And how do I know that I'm connected or in alignment with this source? Simply my knowing. I don't need to justify. I don't need to prove. I don't need to explain or force. So this leads me to another question. In the gap of knowing, this knowing of I am that I am, where is my focus? What am I focusing on? So notice what I did. I went straight from telling you I know who I am and then asking myself in the gap. So I'm creating that gap. There's a gap from what I know to be who I am, why I'm here, and what the proof is. The proof is not in the justifying, the research, the explanation, the gurus, the coaches out there. It's not in what anybody else is telling me. It's not in my feed. It's not in the degrees that I've earned. It's not in any of that. It's me. I am the evidence. And then my very next question for myself was, in this gap between knowing what I just told you and experiencing what I prefer to experience, where is my focus? So clearly, if my focus is on anything less than the knowing, it creates a gap. Light bulb moment for me. I'm sure you can relate to this. So I'm creating the waiting. So by saying, you know what, I'm really working on who I am. I'm working on positivity. I'm working on my health. I'm getting stronger and fitter, and one day I'll be that version of me that I really want it to be. Or I'm really working on investments and financial gain and prosperity. Or I'm really working on putting myself out there and calling in that romantic relationship. All of those things are creating a gap. Do you see it? Do you see? I'm saying I know, but I know this, but this is what I'm doing to call it in. So that's the gap. And we don't want a gap, right? So if you're a little confused, if you're wondering, well, what do you do then? This is where a big light bulb moment occurred for me. This was a light bulb moment. And here's why. Why am I assuming there's a gap? Notice the question I asked myself. In the knowing of who I am, what is the gap between that knowing and what I'm preferring to experience? In that question alone, I create the gap. So what if I just decide my knowing is enough? I don't need to prove it. I don't need to justify it. I'm not waiting for something to show up. I'm just knowing. And it's okay if you don't agree. So the next question I asked myself is this. What if my knowing is so strong and so present that I allow my knowing to be enough? Now that's powerful. What if I stop looking at all of the circumstances and the situations and the relationships and just say, I know it's working out in my favor. I know it. I know so firmly, so deeply. There's something in me that just knows it's all working out. I'm not holding on to micromanaging or trying to fix things, control things. And in that deep knowing, I'm not trying to prove or justify or explain. I can let go. I'm not holding on, and I'm not having to let go because I just know. And I know that that is enough. Big light bulb moment. The evidence or the circumstances that are in front of me will suggest just to give up, because what I know to be true is not seen in the physical world the way I know it to be true. But I stay true to myself. I remember why I'm here, for the joy and the fun. I know I am already one with this source of all that is. And in that knowing, I know I'm enough. I know nothing outside of me determines my joy. Nothing outside of me determines the path I choose. I'm not waiting for you to agree. I'm not waiting for the world to show up with worldly evidence. I just know. So this reminded me of a story of my mother. My mother could calm any baby. It's a gift that she had. It's part of her knowing. So it got me thinking, my mother, she wasn't waiting until she felt calm to help the babies calm down. She wasn't waiting until she was tired to rock them to sleep or get them to drift away into this peaceful dreamland. She just knew. She knew that she was enough. She wasn't trying to become this state of being. She wasn't thinking, okay, if I just get healthy enough, the baby will go to sleep. If I get enough sleep, then I'll be calm and the baby will be calm. Or if I have this amount of money that creates the environment that's ideal for the baby, then the baby will calm down. My mom wasn't like that. She just stepped in. She'd hold the child or hug them close to her, and she just had this way about her, and immediately the infant would calm down, drift off to sleep and be quiet, and she just knew. So I was applying that to me today. I don't need to wait for anything else to show up or to give me approval for what I already know to be true. So now the question I ask myself is, what do I know to be true right now for me? And that's been a huge game changer. That's where this shift happens. So we're here for the human experience. It's natural to drift in a way that you don't prefer. So I no longer punish myself for feeling angry or upset or hurt or concerned. In those moments, I ask myself, what is true for you right now? What is true for me? I know why I'm here, to have fun, to experience joy, to experience emotions. And I know who I am. I know I am one with all that is and all that ever will be. And I know nothing can separate me from this source. And I know that my knowing is enough. I don't need evidence, because I am the evidence. I don't need to justify. I don't need to prove. I don't need to explain. I don't need to force. I don't need to pretend or repeat 1,000 affirmations, because I already am. Let me be straight with you. There is a version of me that for a long time was aligning with needing to explain and prove and justify, and often looked to outside forces for authority. I really fell into the culture of education that says you need to earn your grades. You need to provide evidence before you can move forward. And then I became the teacher. I was the one grading students and telling them, hey, you're not enough. You're close, but you're just not quite enough. It was exhausting. I was working so much, working overtime, and even in the things that I really, really enjoyed, I was coming from a place of not enough. I kept thinking, if I just offer a little more, then I will get what I'm asking for. And eventually I just couldn't do it anymore. I walked away from that version of me that was outsourcing who I know I am. The origin of that thinking, of that way of existing, is not feeling enough. I knew that story well until I didn't. Until I said, I don't need to prove anymore. I don't need to explain anymore. I don't need to justify or force. I am not identifying as someone who is not enough. I don't need to wait for you to agree. I can just be right now. And so that's what I'm offering you. Stop the waiting. Stop the explaining. Stop the proving. Stop all the reasons that you justify things and simply know you are enough. Know who you are. If you'd like to work together, my name is Jennifer Conley, and you can find the link in my bio, or you can visit my website, jenniferconley.com, and we'll get started right away. The choice is always yours.